Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're doing a deep dive into the origin of Izuku Midoriya. It's a story that perfectly captures that brutal clash between soaring hope and, well, crushing reality. Whether you're a longtime fan or just kind of fascinated by the mechanics of this world, we're going to look at the ultimate underdog crucible, how society, self-worth, and impossible standards all completely collide.
So what happens when your absolute greatest idol tells you your lifelong dream is impossible? This isn't just a hypothetical question. It's literally the emotional core of our entire explainer today. I mean, we've all had dreams, right? We've all faced some form of rejection. But imagine the one single person you've modeled your entire existence after, looking you dead in the eye and shutting the door on your future. It's a devastating premise, and it sets some incredibly high emotional stakes for everything we're about to unpack.
Okay, let's set the stage. Section 1. A world of quirks. The reality of superpowers. So, we know quirks are these bizarre, superhuman abilities that humanity just naturally started being born with. But think for a second about what that sudden influx of power actually did to society. It didn't just create chaos. It created this highly regulated, heavily idolized economy where protecting people became a super lucrative, celebrity status day job. Heroism literally became a profession.
And this brilliantly illustrates the numbers behind it. 80% of the global population has a quirk. Superpowers are absolutely the norm here. The remaining 20%, the quirkless, aren't just, unlucky. They are a shrinking extreme minority. So Izuku Midoriya is born into a massive societal disadvantage right from day one. He has systemic exclusion made physical, living in a world that is totally obsessed with power.
And right at the top of this world of billions, one figure stands as the absolute ceiling, All Might, the ultimate symbol of peace. We really have to view him not just as a hero, but as the crushing weight of an impossible societal standard. For young Izuku, he isn't just a celebrity on TV, he's the shining sun that Izuku's entire dream orbits around. Which brings us to Section 2, the quirkless streamer, ambition in the face of reality.
Just 4 years old. That is the incredibly vulnerable age when Izuku received a devastating medical diagnosis. He was completely quirkless. In a society built entirely on biological evolution, his body simply opted out.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the brutal psychological contrast it creates. On one hand, you have the harsh reality of his everyday environment, specifically the relentless bullying from his childhood friend, Bakugo. Bakugo actually brands him Deku, which culturally translates to one who can't do anything. It's a constant, daily verbal reinforcement of his worthlessness in society's eyes. But against all that physical and emotional abuse is Izuku's unyielding mental fortitude. Instead of just giving up, he fights back the only way he can. He meticulously studies, he analyzes hero weaknesses, and he absolutely refuses to stop dreaming. And the cruelty of his peers doesn't just stop at name-calling. It escalates drastically. Bakugo literally burns Izuku's meticulously kept hero diary, tosses it right out a window, and flat out tells him to abandon his dreams and apply to a totally different school. It's a suffocating, everyday struggle. It really paints a grim picture of extreme isolation. You can literally feel the crushing weight of that systemic exclusion pressing down on a kid who just wants to belong.
But as we know, the real world rarely waits for personal struggles to resolve. Moving on to Section 3, the sludge villain attack. A life or death encounter.
The escalation here is insanely rapid. An ordinary walk home suddenly turns into an ambush when a sludge villain attacks, trying to suffocate Izuku and hijack his body. Just as Izuku is literally seconds away from dying, the impossible happens. All Might suddenly arrives and obliterates the villain instantly with a single Texas smash. Wow, right? It feels like this neat, triumphant resolution. It's a classic false victory that completely tricks us into thinking the climax has already arrived. But the true climax of this story is entirely emotional. Section 4. The ultimate question. A desperate leap of faith. So, the crucial point is, high up in the air, clinging desperately to the leg of the symbol of peace as he flies away, Izuku asks the one single question he needs answered. Can someone without a quirk be a hero like you? Just let the heavy emotional weight of that hang in the air for a second. This is the culmination of a decade of bullying, isolation, and relentless note-taking. He is begging the absolute ultimate authority on heroism to finally validate his existence. And that brings us to our final section, Section 5, a shattered reality, the tragic truth.
Up on that isolated rooftop, the grand illusion completely breaks. All Might accidentally reveals a severe hidden injury. Right before Izuku's eyes, this massive, smiling titan literally deflates, transforming into a fragile, sickly man. And in this incredibly vulnerable state, All Might drops the ultimate truth bomb. He explains that heroism isn't a cartoon. It is a heavy, dangerous responsibility that requires significantly more than just sheer willpower.
And then All Might delivers the absolute final blow to Izuku's reality. Quote, "It is not possible to be a hero without a quirk." It's spoken with absolute finality. The ultimate symbol of peace, the very man Izuku has idolized since he was 4 years old, confirms exactly what his childhood bullies have been telling him his entire life. It is a devastating, totally world-shattering climax for him.
So with his worldview completely shattered by his greatest idol, how can Izuku Midoriya possibly move forward? When the person you admire most tells you your dream is biologically impossible, do you finally surrender to reality, or do you find a brand new way to fight? That is the incredible tension we are left with. It's a brilliant setup that challenges absolutely everything we know about underdog stories. Thank you so much for exploring this explainer with me. Keep questioning what it truly takes to be a hero.